Hey, this is the one. Pragmatic Crystal gets first comment. Thank you, Pragmatic Crystal. And as we get started here, because I know it's 4:20 somewhere. Where? Right here. Woo-hoo. Yeah. Wasn't a big ripper, but good enough. I'll get us started. Let's try again. Had some airflow going through there. Corner it. That one was a little better. Okay. I don't know about intelligence. Killing brain cells, the Trusty 8 podcast. No, no. Is that who it is? It is.
Hello, everyone. It's me, Gilbert Gottfried. No, it's Pat.
Gilbert
I mean,
Godfrey.
arguably the same person. I mean,
Yeah, that's reincarnated. Yeah.
yeah, like a really early reincarnation, like 27, 28 years early reincarnation. Hey, look, I don't know how that shit works. Maybe that's how it does work. I'm not entirely certain.
Do you remember that movie? What is it called? He played like a villain, like a real villain. But it was like a kids movie or something. So it's kind of like cheesy, but
Oh, I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember it. It's not Mousetrap, but I'm thinking it's Mousetrap. No, it's not that. Ah,
it's like the one of those like reverse Home Alone plots where the kid gets stuck
yeah,
like out on his own and has to outsmart the bad guys type of thing. God, it's like I
I
can't
can
remember.
see it. I can see it in my eyes. It is like aggressively like the year 1996 or 1998, something like that. It is aggressively that. I can see it.
Yes.
Ah, to be
And then
fair, Gilbert Gottfried was in a lot of movies in that time period.
yeah, he's such a like underrated actor. I think because he does so many character pieces that just make a film, but you can like hardly remember all of them.
Well, my favorite was the time he was on Celebrity Apprentice with Donald Trump and
Oh,
C Kyled him. Yeah, he was on Celebrity Apprentice with Donald Trump. He C Kyled him and called him a Nazi. And they like aired it on TV and everything. I remember because I watched it. And
that's hilarious.
like years later, after Donald Trump did some. I mean, hey, look, I'm not going to shit on anyone's political opinion, but there's a correct one. Well, and a few incorrect ones. But the point is, Gilbert Gottfried was like, I knew he was a Nazi. That's why I Kyled him.
Well, yeah. Plus, his dad was an actual like freaking KKK affiliate or some shit, right? Or
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. Half of the people I grew up were associated with the KKK. That doesn't necessarily mean they're a Nazi. But in Donald Trump's dad's case, it's kind of one of those things where it's suspect. Because New York.
My mom made the mistake of telling my ex the story about how my grandma's stepdad was in the KKK, You know, this is like way, way back in the day, like the 20s or some shit, right?
Oh,
And so
didn't
now
get tricked into it.
it is in
It was the
my
barbecue.
court paperwork, in my mediation paperwork. It says claims that father, being me, father's family has affiliations with the KKK. I'm like, cause some dude I never met, you know. Yeah, it's hilarious. Some dude I never met, you know, way before I was born, had affiliations. So yeah.
Well, yeah, that's your problem now, apparently, I guess.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
and that's what I'm saying though. Like the judge is looking at this, he's looking at me, he's like, yeah, white supremacist. I don't know.
I mean, hey, I've been accused of being a white supremacist. I mean, not in the court of law. Fucking Baruch Hashem. I just crossed my chest while saying Baruch Hashem. I don't know what hell I'm going to for that, but one of them. Yeah, I've never been accused of that in court of law, but I have been accused of being a white supremacist. And it's like, okay, you do realize, like, okay, I'm pale as all hell, but my dad's darker than Obama, right?
Right.
Like, I'm mixed, I'm just real light. Like my mom makes sour cream look tan. She makes snow look dark. Okay, like I'm sorry I got more of the light features, I guess, in the skin coloration area. I don't know. I really think, look, I have a problem with people on the left calling everything Nazis just because I grew up around actual Nazis and I fought them. I don't know. That's my opinion.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's the sick thing to me though. With this individual, you know, I had a child with them, right? And so,
Yeah.
you know, our child is mixed, and then after the fact is when she starts calling me a white supremacist. I'm like, no, you don't you don't get to post talk say, oh, now you're a Nazi because you know we're not fucking anymore. Like, no.
Yeah. Now you're a Nazi. You showed no Nazi tendencies during the entire relationship, but they were able to dig up something from your past. And it's so far past your past that it's actually past your parents' past, but it's your fault now.
That's the embarrassing part about it is like, you know, that it wasn't even, she didn't even have to dig. Like my mom, unfortunately, just blurted this out in conversation.
Well,
like it was just, you know, let me just tell you about my family. It was like, no, this is the part you don't want to bring up at the dinner table. You just leave that one behind. It's not, you know what I mean? But I don't know. She said some other shit too that tripped me out, which is where I was like, oh man, my mom's becoming more and more like my grandma as the years go on. And this was like 10 years ago when all this happened. So
yeah,
she's a little more with it now. I've had to coach her a bit, but it was like, dude, like, what are you doing?
Oh, yeah. I mean, my mother's mother has been senile, I think, since before I was born. She's not that old. I mean, I am 28. She's not even 80 yet, I don't think. But like, she's been addicted to pain pills since the 80s. So like, her brain's kind of a bit fried because she has like 2, 3, 6, 12 glasses of wine a night with her pain pills and then takes her sleeping meds. So she's a bit off. Like, she'll forget she's Jewish randomly. I mean, okay, look, this isn't her real maiden name, but this is the maiden name I use to, like, you know, emphasize how Jewy it is. Rosenblatt.
But is she practicing or just Jewish by
No, her father's from Long Island, and who's a Jew. Her mother is also from Long Island, a Jew. Her mother and father moved to Chicago and then up to southern Wisconsin. And then her mother died due to various complications. It's questionable whether my great grandfather killed her because she was schizophrenic. We're not entirely certain, but he moved back to Chicago for a job and got in. Which, by the way, okay, this is the most Jewish thing ever. He was like, I just want someone with big titties. Jewish women got big titties. There's no Jewish women. And he was living in the barrio with my grandma, his daughter, and found like a big titty, Mexican Catholic lady and married her. And my grandma was like 10 or 12 or something and just completely forgot they were Jewish at some point in the pain pill addiction. And she's just like, yeah, I never knew why we never had pulled pork growing up. This is delicious. And then her husband's like, oh my God, you're Jewish. And then he drinks. It's actually hilarious. It would be hilarious if it wasn't sad, I guess, because she'll just say horrific things about Jews randomly because she watches Fox News. And then my grandpa's like, oh my, this fucking shiksa here.
Was that wasn't you, right? I had to make a joke about space lasers recently. That came back up, and I was like, oh yeah. Yes.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, hey, that wasn't me. I can ask about it the next time I go to the LGBTQ Jewish, agenda meeting, I guess. I could figure out that might have been us. I'm not entirely certain.
Yep, we're gonna execute them conservatives from outer space.
Look, I don't understand what conservatives will in the same breath be like, we need to protect Israel. And then immediately, but I hate Jews. Which, I mean, I shouldn't use that voice. There are plenty of, normal people who have that accent. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I've impugned anyone.
No.
Look,
I mean, yeah.
I have an incredibly rural accent naturally, so like I get it. I'm sorry.
I make fun of it. I can make fun of it because I was born in Arkansas, and even though I don't have the draw, like a lot of people in my family do, but like somehow I'm naturally inclined to do. Like I can't really do fake accents very well, but that one I tend to nail most of the time. But also, like, there's a lot of people from the South who will say it sounds ridiculous. Like they will actively. I'm just saying, depending upon how far you go with it, like, or they have their own type of slangs which are just ridiculous. I think some of them are funny, but like the typical Jeff Foxworthy, you might be a redneck.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. Here's my theory. Okay, so here's the difference between hillbillies and rednecks, right? There's multiple different flavors of country people, right? There's mountain folk, there's hillbillies, there's redneck, there's swamp folk, and then there's swamp hillbillies. There's cold hillbillies. Like there's multiple different kinds of fucking, country folk. Now, rednecks are weird because they're either incredibly racist or they're like casually racist verbally but don't actually care, right? Then you get hillbillies who generally hate and distrust the government, who like, I would characterize hillbillies. Okay, I was in a small village of 120 people, and I was sitting in the bar because it's Wisconsin, so there's a bar. There's 120 people. There's a fucking bar. Okay, there's a bar and a post office. It's rural Wisconsin. That's what you get. Sitting in the bar, guy walks up to me, and he's like, "Oh, hey, so heard you wanted them, what do they call them, transgenderals?" And I was like, yeah.
Oh,
And he goes,
shit.
and then he slaps me on the back and goes, "Oh, that's hey, I'm glad you found something that worked for you. I'm glad you're fucking happy. You're happy, right? Okay, that's fucking good. I would be fucking miserable if you weren't happy, And I think that's the difference between, because like that's what you get out in the fucking boonies. You either get, we don't like your kind around here. Yeah, so we had some fucking so we had some lesbians move in next to us. I mean, the one with the no hair, she's gonna come help me work on my Jeep, fucking good people. I don't know how they fuck, but fucking good people, yeah. That's what you get out in the boonies, in my experience. It's one or the other, and there's no in between.
I believe too there's a distinction in the term redneck had a pretty specific origin, if I'm not mistaken,
Yes.
which like implied working Irish, right? Because they're out there in the sun and they get burned, and then
Well, the redneck actually comes from wearing red bandanas and coal miners, which were mostly Irish. But yeah, they wore the red bandanas on their necks because, they got sunburned more easily than most folk, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, it was something like that. I remember, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was also right. It was an insult at the time too, right? Because the Irish were still getting shit on all the time. So now it's just been more generalized. Just all country bumpkins.
And mountain folk are like about as left-leaning anarchist as I am, which is, I mean, I've been out there in the fucking. I mean, I'm at the foot of the Adirondacks now, which is technically in the Appalachian Mountain Range. Hey, for the feds, it's Appalachia. But, for normal people, it's Appalachia.
Yeah.
Appalachia, or whatever. I can't even pronounce it. How the fucking skinflints do it. I can't. Look,
funny.
I'm a skinty ass motherfucker. I ain't no skinflint. I don't know how them motherfuckers work. Okay, these are terms that might not make sense, but
You know any of those survivalists out there like living off the land?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. When I was fucking, doing my whole drifter thing, I'd go out there and it's like, you fucking run into a house and it's in the middle of goddamn nowhere up in the woods and they got like a broken fence or whatever, and you're like, hey, I'll you got the stuff to fix your fence, I'll fix it up, give me dinner and let me fucking hang out in my car here a few nights. That cool? And they're always like, yeah, you're fucking your damn man, you're fucking damn mom. And you're like, all right, hell yeah.
Yeah, you can read it by their tone. They're not like
I can translate that into, regular. Okay, I grew up where people would be like, oh hey, can you come right here once for me, would you? Yeah or no? No, yeah, okay, yeah, no, sure, Like, I can translate that into English. I can translate fucking Appalachian into English. It's the same, just completely different. I mean, I got family in Kentucky. I mean, look, I got a cousin named Princess, so.
Oh boy, yes, that's special.
Oh yeah, it is. Oh yeah.
That's all right. I have a male cousin named Dana, and I also have a female cousin named Dana.
Oh yeah. Oh. Okay. My ma is one I think 9 now that we found. My mom has 8 half siblings. Well, I think 7 half siblings. One of them might be a full sibling. I'm not entirely certain. And my dad is one of 8. So we have a lot of duplicate names. Like I have 3 aunts named Debbie and 2 uncles named Mike. And
Oh gosh, my favorite aunt is named Debbie, but I only have one.
yeah, I got
Or I should
2
say
aunts
favorite.
named
Not my
Debbie
favorite.
on my mom's side and 2 uncles named Mike on my mom's side. So it gets kind of chaotic.
I don't think have we ever. I don't know if I've ever asked. Do you still like get along with your parents? Do you speak to them?
Not really. I mean, I didn't talk to my parents for half a decade. I haven't talked to my dad. The only conversation I've had with my father in the past over 5 years was him being like, I'm in Hawaii. That was it. And I responded with, okay. That was it. Like I was just like I was super confused because we hadn't talked in like a year and a half, and he was just like, I'm in Hawaii. Like how do you respond to that? You haven't talked to your father in a year and a half. You left on bad terms. I'm in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, haha. No. Yeah, I feel like my family does that to me sometimes. Like I'll be like, "Hey, what's going on?" And they're like, "Just vacationing in beautiful South Beach," and I'm like, "Oh, okay. I wasn't even invited. All right, that's." But everybody assumes that I don't have the money anyway. I guess so.
Yeah. Well, I have obviously an incredibly large family. I mean, my mom's the youngest of 9 and my dad's the 6th of 8. So like most of my cousins are around my parents' age. So like they have kids who are my age who have kids. Like I talk to people in my family. It's just not a lot of them. A lot of them aren't super big fans of, me existing the way I do. It's
Do they like have like some kind of moral disagreement, or are they just embarrassed by your identity?
depends. Some of my family's Jehovah's Witness, some of my family's Southern Baptist. A small part of my family's incredibly Catholic, which doesn't care because I don't know, I didn't get fucked by a Catholic priest, so I guess they're okay because I'm not calling out the Catholic Church every second of my life. My mom's an atheist, which is weird because they sent me to Christian school as a kid. I didn't know she was an atheist until I was an adult.
It's almost like the opposite of my story, where my mom, when I asked her about God when I was a kid, she was like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Here's a bunch of books about different religions. You tell me. And now she's like full-blown Christian. She's like, we were always Christian. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, no, we never went to church. But it's like my dad, we have never really talked about religion. It's just never come up. Like, I have no idea what my dad's religious beliefs are to this day. It's like, what? Like, think about that. But we don't converse that much.
Oh, my dad is how do I explain what my dad... Have you ever watched Ancient Aliens?
Oh, yeah. I watched Lisa Major.
Yeah, that's like unironically my dad. He buys into all that shit.
Dude with the weird hair. Oh, okay. No, it's just
No. I mean, he does have curly hair. I mean, he's darker than that guy by quite a bit, but I mean,
I want to say hello and welcome to William. And sorry, go ahead.
oh, hello. Yeah, no, my dad is an interesting individual because, okay, my dad's very dark, but like he's part Palestinian, part Native American, and he either works outside or in steam tunnels. So he gets real dark. Like he gets a real tan. And people will confuse him for being black, and he gets madder than hell. Like it's an insult. And it's the weirdest fucking thing. And it's like, Dad, you do realize you ain't white, right? Like, I mean, I'm physically white. Like, the tannest I get, you look at me and you're like, is that like half of a Native American? Is that the light-skinned half of a Native American? That's the best I get when I get tan, right? My dad is darker than Obama when he gets tan. And has black curly hair and brown eyes. It's like, hey man, like look, you gotta realize you're real dark. Like it's not an insult. That's not. But he grew up in Wisconsin, so I guess.
I don't know why, but like me, my dad doesn't get this that I know, but I get frequently mistaken for being Mexican by Mexican people, and they'll walk up to me and be like, like start speaking to me in Spanish, and it's California, so they partially just expect you to speak Spanish too. But they, like some of them, like they look at me at first glance and they think that I'm like from Mexico, and I'm like, dude, like I don't know.
Oye, hombre, ¿qué pasó? Amigo. Oye.
And I don't like. I mean, I have like more of an olive complexion, but I keep kind of a tan, especially since being homeless. Fucking out in California, spent a couple summers out there.
Yeah.
And it's like so. But yeah, and my son's mixed, like I said. So we're almost the same shade, in the exposed parts. He's darker. Like I've got white legs. If you see me in shorts, it's a dead giveaway, right? But it's like other than that,
Oh, dude, when I was in Venezuela, I was so fucking dark. And like I looked like I was permanently sunburnt. That's just my skin tone, apparently. I'm just red. That is just my skin tone when I get tan. I've mostly lived in the northern part of the US, like North Dakota, South Dakota, Wisconsin, Indiana, New York, shit like that. Not being up here, holy fuck, I got a weird color. I feel ya, because like everywhere that wasn't covered was like pasty white, like makes snow look tan.
Yeah. You got like the bikini line, but it runs all the way down your thigh or something. Yeah.
Yeah. It runs down to like, the middle of my knee. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, that reminds me. Have you ever had your feet get sunburned? Oh
gosh. I've had my feet.
Terrible.
I've had my feet get burnt from sand, but not the sun.
Oh yeah, sunburn blisters on the top of your toes are probably the worst.
Yeah. I mean, my feet are constantly covered in blisters that eventually turn into calluses just because, I bike 10 miles a day. And I walk a lot too, so I mean, I got homeless people feet.
Yeah, so I'm probably gonna end up having to bike at least home from work at night, so that's gonna be fun, especially when the weather's fucked. But
yeah,
and over
it is.
a bridge
Trust
note.
me, it's fun.
But it's not quite that far. Well, I think the total trip, if I don't take any buses, probably around 6 or 8 miles. But the bridge portion is like 3.5. So that's
Yeah. Well, that's less. Oh, you got buses with the bike racks on them, don't you?
yeah, we have those.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good.
But well, it depends on which one. Some of them have the racks on the front, but the ones with they have the little shelf that goes underneath. Those ones are a pain in the ass. Those suck.
Yeah, we don't have. Okay, we have buses that go where I live. They're just never on time in my area because the poors live here. So they just like show up if they feel like it.
I mean, I could see how big of a problem that is, but you gotta like see like even in the big city, like what I've been seeing like so much of, and there's competition between the different transit agencies, so that's like a part of the whole dynamic. And then like one agency has a shortage of drivers and they can't get all their freaking buses out, and people like if they have to wait an additional 15 minutes, they are livid. They are calling the manager. Everybody's going Karen, right? And then on the other end, they have an abundance of drivers. And these ones are just like flowing. But like they don't have enough lines going enough places. So they're like, oh, well, I can really only go like one direction on this one. It doesn't take me to all these, whatever. So it's like this, I don't know. The system's just fucking weird.
Yeah. Okay, what bothers me is like where I was living had a better bus system than New York. Like, I mean, I know I'm not in the city. I'm a few hours north of the city. But like, come on. How the fuck you ain't got no bike lanes and your bus routes suck? How is shit fuck nowhere Wisconsin doing better than you in this? What is all my tax money going to? What the hell? I mean, if shit fuck nowhere Wisconsin can paint shit on the side of the road and be like, yeah, there's a bike lane now. Why the fuck can't New York do it? I feel like 6 times the taxes. And I still can't get no goddamn food stamps. It's bullshit.
Right. Oh, you can't. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I can't get them either. Yeah, there's like a lot
too much
that goes into that though, like because you got different types of infrastructure, and it
depends. I mean, yeah, that is what it is.
And that's something like in the politics that I'm looking at now is like playing The Sims. Like you never really thought about how like public transit. Yeah, it's funded through essentially through tax money. Right. But then like these organizations operate in a way like private businesses. Right. And so and then there's like, I don't know, there's all these other, it's actually like a really complex thing. Like you don't think of it that way. You just put buses out there, get people, and it's like get people around. And it's like, no, but there's like all these other factors at play that you just like, you never really consider, like, buses need gas, all that different shit. And you're like, okay. And then there's a tax on the gas, but it's whatever. It's like, that's above my pay grade fucking mathematics right there.
It is just wild because it's like, I don't know, man. Like, I lived in DC for a while. They had a great transit system. It's like, hey, okay, so like I need to go from, where I'm working. For a while, I worked at the same place I lived. It was a long story, but then I didn't, and I moved into an apartment complex, so I wasn't working, 20 hours a day with, most of it being on call just because I was physically there. And then I moved, and it's like 8 miles away. So I'd walk about half a mile, get into a subway, go 3 miles, get up, and then immediately the bus would be there every single goddamn time. Right when I got up, the bus would be stopping, and I'd get on the bus, and they'd wait for about like a minute and a half, and then they'd go, and then I'd get dropped off, and then I'd hop on a different subway, and then I'd go there, and I'd get up, and I'd walk like half a mile, and I'd be right at my work on time every time. I just I don't know. There's obviously something that goes into it that I'm not understanding. There's some city planning and some how the structure of the roads and all that jazz works together. I don't know how to fix it. I just know it needs to be fixed in a lot of places.
Yeah, and I guess that's why they have all these really kind of vigilant civilians who are going around well, I've got nothing better to do than go around and ride the bus all day and criticize the drivers and the route planners and all of that shit. And so that's what they do. And it's okay, so the system kind of functions that way.
Once again, I wouldn't care if the bus was 5-10 minutes late. Whatever. Because then I can be I could show up to work and be yeah, bus was late. No big deal. But if the bus never shows up at that location when it's supposed to, then I'm okay, now I have to walk 4 miles or walk a mile back to where I live, get on my bike, and then bike 5 miles. And then I'm going to wind up being an hour and a half late, no matter what.
Did you hear, or did I tell you my story from Tuesday on my trip to work when the bus fucking stood me up?
Yes, you did.
Yeah. So yeah, I've seen that guy's sets. I've spoken to him and stuff, and yeah, so it is what it is. But it was just it was one of those things, I know he was making a point to me, so it's all good. But okay, hopefully that doesn't happen again because that sucks.
Yeah. Well, I tried riding the bus route in this area, and I stood at the bus station, and the bus just drove past the bus stop.
Oh,
and then I booked it to the next stop. Luckily they had a stop sign. They drove past the next one, and I'm okay, I'm just never trying the buses here. I'm just gonna walk. This is fucking bullshit. It's $1.50 just to get to the bus terminal, and then another 50 cents to get to the McDonald's a mile from where I work. I'm just gonna walk. That's $2 to save me 3 miles. At that point, I'm just gonna walk.
Yeah, and it's important to know the lines too, I guess. When they do stop, the most important thing, you're saving you time. If you're willing to do the walk, then it's okay, whatever. But if I need to make it there in X amount of time, but it takes me more time to walk there, then obviously this would be, my best alternative.
I just decided the $2 a day there, because I was going to have to walk back anyways. This was before I had a bike. I was just I'm just going to walk. I'll just wake up an hour earlier. I'll just walk. It only takes me an hour and a half to walk 5 miles. I have a limp, but it's still only an hour and a half. So whatever. I'll take the extra $10 a week, I guess. It's not going to save me that much time because I have to get a ride to the terminal, switch buses, wait 10 minutes. It's going to be about the same amount of time. So I guess I'll just walk and get the exercise and save the $10 for beer or something.
Right. Yeah. No, I know what you mean. It's a trade-off. Like that's what I do.
I'm
Like every time I go to the
yeah.
grocery store, it's like I take frequent trips to the grocery store because I always walk for groceries and I only get what I can carry. You know what I mean? Like that's it. I don't take a
Yeah.
bag or nothing with me. It's just an armload of groceries. But it's like that saves me gas. It keeps me active. You know, it makes sure that
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, my favorite thing. I go to a food pantry every other week. My favorite thing is when it's shitty weather. Like in the middle of winter and it's snowing or hailing or whatever. Cause the motherfuckers with cars never show up. But I will. So like I get in and I get free pick of everything. Cause there's like 6 people there total. You know, instead of like 150, which kind of leads me to believe a lot of these people don't need the food as much as, you know, they
Or
seem to
maybe
be
there's
claiming.
just still they're you say don't eat it. Well, they're not hungry enough, right? Like at some
Yeah, well,
point,
yeah, I guess. Yeah, that might be it. But it's like, you know, I am hungry enough. So it's like some weeks I come back from the food pantry with like, you know, 2 bags of food. Some weeks I come back, my backpack's full, and I got like 4 bags of food, and I'm biking it home. And it's like, oh, we have to eat a lot of this because we only have a mini fridge, so we're eating a lot for like 4 days. Right? Am I right, Bugs?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he agrees.
And a lot of
it sounds about right. Yeah, and it doesn't make sense that they would give you like perishables, at the food giveaways, like
Well, I mean,
as much.
yeah, but they get donated all kinds of food or like, you know, frozen meat that's like they can't legally sell it, but it's not gone bad yet. You know what I mean? Shit like that.
Donates all the food.
My roommate and
Yeah.
I, back about a couple of years ago, we volunteered. I think he still does at a food giveaway at a church up there. And at the end, there's such an abundance of food. All the volunteers get to take some too, and it was just like gross amounts of vegetables. We just have vegetables like
Oh, yeah.
all over the countertop, and we ended up actually using those to seed out a vegetable garden in the back. So
Hell
I
yeah.
was like, yeah, let's do something with this stuff because we got a bunch of rotten vegetables up here. We're making like stew 5 nights a week. It's like, yeah. But that was cool. It was like, okay, yeah, go, work a couple hours, help feed some people, and then take some home for yourself. It was, worthwhile.
Well, yeah. I mean, they always tell us it's like okay, so the way the food pantry I go to works at like they have my name and like I have a card and like my card's got a number and I go in and they always know me because I'm the guy who comes in on a bike and I'm super like laid back, which okay, it's wild because there's people who demand things at the food pantry. I do not get that, but they'll like demand they get let in early and they get pissed. Like it's raining out and it's like 40 degrees and they'll let me in. And it's like, dude, I'm just like standing there. I'm not getting like I have a number. I'm not getting my food before you. You were here first. You still get your shit. I'm just like standing in a corner or like sitting in a chair, but they'll get pissed that I physically go in. It's like, do you want me to stand in the rain for 45 minutes? Like, calm down. But they know me because I'm real fucking chill and I'm not an asshole. And yeah, I'm usually wearing the same clothes because that's all I've got. But
And you're the one that has the cute person.
oh yeah, I got bugs. But yeah, they know me there, and I'm pretty sure they intentionally give me extra because I'm not a dick. Like we're listed for 2 people, but they'll like give me meat for like 3 or 4 people, and I know the one lady hides shit underneath the counter. So there's a counter you go to where it's like you get your canned foods, your frozen meat, your lunch meat, cereal, rice, pasta, baking goods, stuff like that. And then there's this whole room that's a free for all of like, you know, you go in and there's like all kinds of bread and vegetables and shit like that. And the lady at the first counter has always got something underneath it for the past like 3 times where she's just like, hey, you take this. And it's always something good like tortilla chips or fucking like nice granola bars that she pulls out and puts in my bag. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Apparently not
awesome.
being a dick
Like-
serves you well.
Yeah, or just like basic manners. Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
Most people notice that.
Yeah. Like, it's like, oh, wow, I don't treat you like shit. And then you don't treat me like shit. Wow, this is almost like this is how humanity should work.
It does seem like there's a like there is a school of there's on both sides. There's people on both sides, which we use that term, who like you have the entitled people on both ends, who are like the service people who are like, oh, you fuck those dirty they're not they're not doing it for themselves, and and then you have the other people who are affected on the other end, who are like the angry poor people who come in and they're like, no, I want this, I want it now, and so like nobody's achieving balance. Well, some people are, but not. I don't know. It seems like not most people.
I have a fun story about that. So me and my buddy Mark, he's good fucking people. I fucking love him. I mean, he fucking went on. I mean, he's an electrician now. He's got a wife. It's he's fucking living the American dream or whatever. But this is back when we were fucking hood rat teenagers, and we saw a dude. And he was like sitting at the edge of like a major intersection, like where a highway. He was like one block down from like where a highway intersects with the interstate, and like he had a sign saying like blah blah blah, need money or whatever, and he's just like, I'm gonna buy this motherfucker some food, because we were stopping at the Wendy's right there. And he walked out there to give him the food, and the guy got pissed off at him. He's like, man, you're not gonna give me some money. What the fuck is this shit? And then my buddy grabbed the fucking bag of food and walked back to the car because he was like, God damn it. I only had $20 and I spent $8 on this motherfucker, and he's gonna fucking talk shit. Fuck him. We fucking drove off, and it's like, yeah, hey, maybe like you could be angry while being poor, but don't be angry at the other poor people trying to help you. Just because we're less poor doesn't mean we're not also poor. What the fuck, man?
Like, I know, right? Much love with what the Beck? I forgot the question mark in the app mention, but yeah.
Hello, like, Beck.
You see so much of that, and then like I had some guy at the, I don't know if I told you. See, I keep telling this story. Some guy approached me and was like, "You have a cigarette?" And I was like, "No, I don't smoke." And then he came at me like I didn't want to, I didn't want to give him a fucking cigarette or whatever. And it was crazy, like the way he went into like fight mode and shit. And people do that all the time. I had some guy. Actually, we're acquainted now, but at the time I didn't really know him. And he, I was going by on my way to work, and he was, he has a little spot he lays down on the sidewalk downtown here and stuff. And he's like, "Could you spare some change?" And I was like, "No, I don't keep cash." And he was like, "Oh, so you just don't want to give me any money?" I was like, "What? No, I just don't have any cash. Like,
I just don't want to get
literally have
robbed.
cash. Yeah, that was it. So it's like, you can have my PIN number when you buy it from my,
Yeah.
but yeah. Anyway,
Well-
so it's like, but people assume that, and it's like, dude, like, and these people know that I was homeless. Like, I'm not like, I still want to say I'm homeless. I'm not homeless anymore, but it's like I've been perpetually homeless for so long, or like in between
Yeah.
places.
I know what you mean. Yeah. I mean, I have a stable living place, but like in my brain, it's still homeless. Like, I mean, I don't have a lease. I pay week by week, so I guess technically I fall under sheltered homeless. But like, I'm not homeless. Like, I have a roof. I mean, I got a hole in my wall because someone crashed into my fucking air conditioner, but that's
But
life.
I mean, we all kind of have the understanding. I mean, hotel living's better than
Oh, God,
other
yeah.
circumstances, but it's not
Oh, fuck
optimum.
yeah.
It's not what we mean by being homed. Like, really, like
Yeah.
even my situation, yeah, I'm renting a room, so I'm like, oh yeah, hooray me! But really, like, I don't have my own place. Like everybody,
Yeah.
you have your own place.
Yeah. It's that's something I need. I know I'm gonna need when I get my goddamn insurance card. I know I'm gonna need to talk to a therapist because it's like, hey, how do I transition out of homeless brain? Because like, homeless brain is completely different from home having brain. I don't know what home having brain is as an adult. So,
Okay, so I'm gonna go right into it. Do you hoard random items like I do?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, no, look, when sometimes I see a can on the side of the road and I throw it in my backpack because that's 5 cents.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Recycling, building materials. I collect like any like random screws I find on the ground.
Oh yeah, yeah, mine's mostly like cardboard and paper clips and staples and shit like that. But yeah, similar, yeah. Just things that I can crudely fix pants or a backpack or a coat with if I need to. Just to keep it like, because like I got tape at work, so if I can like, get something to hold it together, then I can tape it on both sides and make it semi-waterproof again. Yeah.
Oh, I still want to make that. That reminds me, I still want to make a duct tape PVC kayak. Have you heard about that?
Oh, I've seen one of those.
There's a
Yeah.
recipe for it. Yeah. Oh, that's like one of my dream goals right there. But yeah, like looking through garbage cans, like like I wonder why they threw that away. That looks all right,
Oh, I look at work. Every time someone drops food on the floor at lunch, they're just like, "Hey, you want this?" And I'm like, "You fucking know it."
Okay, so that's a pet peeve for me. I can't do food on the floor most of the time. There's certain exceptions. Sometimes I'll do it. It depends on the floor. But the thing I'm getting over now is utensils on the floor. Because I used to be like, if I dropped a utensil on the floor, I would have to like obsessively go and wash it. And now I'm like, yeah, it was just the tip. Like there wasn't much surface contact. Like what could have really gotten on there,
Yeah, I mean, okay, so here's the problem. I'm from the Midwest also. So like I'm the kind of crazy person who like washes takeout containers and empty Cool Whip containers and like, plastic forks you get from the Chinese restaurant and shit like that. And I'm like, yes, this is our silverware now. In addition to homeless brain.
I'm all for that. I recently acquired, so I have a plastic fork, or not plastic, a wooden fork, a wooden spoon, and a set of chopsticks. And I'm going to get a wooden knife so that I have an all wooden utensil set, because for some reason I like that, even though I know
Yeah.
it technically is more germy. But like I keep it
Well,
really clean.
it's only bad if you're using it on like I wouldn't use it on a medium rare steak. I don't know if that could cut through a medium rare steak, but like I wouldn't even if it could, just because then you're gonna get the bad kind of germs. Or raw chicken, yeah. Like Bugs said, raw chicken.
No, I wouldn't use it for raw or uncooked food. And I probably wouldn't use the knife for a steak, although I don't know about the fork. I don't know if the... Yeah, I mean, it seems like at that level I'd probably just use... Yeah, I could probably eat a steak with 2 knives, especially if it's medium rare. I just do that.
Like most things, that's not really an issue because you just need to boil it. But
right,
yeah,
exactly. Or if you just eat your meal and wash it directly afterwards, and there's nothing really sticking.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's usually what I do. I fucking eat food, and then I wash the plate. I mean, okay, when I had an apartment, I had a duplex to myself. Well, okay, I had the top level of a duplex to myself. I had 1 plate, 1 bowl, 1 fork, 2 spoons, and a knife. And a water bottle. And an old Taco Bell cup. That was everything I had. I mean, well, I guess I had like 2 pots and 2 pans and a microwave, but like every time I cooked something, I just washed it immediately afterwards. I don't know how to not be incredibly minimalist, even if I have the money to not be. My brain's broken, Kevin.
No, I mean, well, I think there's some benefit, some utility of being minimalist. But I was going to ask about this. So I differ from a lot of people in that a lot of people say as soon as you cook the food, then you should wash, like the cooking utensils, and then you eat, I guess. And then, so I'm like, well, why would I take the extra step? Like I'll cook and then I'll eat and then we'll just wash the whole lot of it. You know what I mean? Like,
you've got it right. It's less effort. You cook, then eat, then wash all of it. That is the correct order. I don't care if other people say otherwise, they're wrong. Eat first, then wash it. Hey, it's not the end of the world if you gotta wait until the next day to wash it. Who the fuck cares, right? Like, eat it, fall into a food coma, wash it tomorrow before you cook. Just eat it, then wash it. That's Don't wash twice. That's too much effort.
Yeah, and it's like, what's gonna happen? Like, is the pan gonna mold while it's sitting there on the stove waiting for you? No, it's you put water in it, leave it alone. Fine.
I think that also might be homeless brain a bit though, where it's like, I'm gonna do the least amount of effort. Gotta conserve them calories.
I think it's also and it comes from a lot of people's like fear of procrastination, which I think, homeless people like are just, procrastination. I know all about that,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But then there's like those people that like go OCD on it the other way, but I don't know, just psychoanalyzing that shit. I don't know. I need to get some cookware again because I have a kitchen now. So I'm like, oh yeah, I could like go shopping and like actually like cook a meal, and I'm still like eating ramen noodles and shit, for the most part.
I got some pretty okay. I'm not gonna say decent. Okay cookware at a Family Dollar. Dollar Tree also has some incredibly adequate cookware for reasonable prices. I don't know what you got around you, but like, well, to be fair, the pots and pans I got from Family Dollar. The Family Dollar was closing down, so I got them for like $3 for like 2 pots and 2 pans or something. But like, I think they were like $8 per 2 pot. It was like $8 for 2 pot and like $8 for 2 pans or something like that, which isn't. Once again, they're not great, but they're incredibly okay.
Yeah, they're usable. I don't know. See,
Yeah.
I keep doing that. Like, I keep looking at them, but I have the fear of commitment right now because I'm like, okay, at any
Yeah.
moment, everything could just fall through, and fuck, what am I buying? Gotta save every penny.
Yeah.
But it's like, just
Oh, I know. Oh, trust me, I know, man. I know. Yeah. It was a whole purchase. I mean, once again, I think I spent like $6 total on 4 pieces of cookware. I got like a 3-pack of forks for 30 cents and, all that jazz. And I'm like, oh man, what if I this is just a waste of $20 if I bought all this shit and I get kicked out. Yeah, I know.
But
I mean,
yeah,
hey.
we got to move past that at some point, right? Just like take the leap.
Yeah. I mean, well, I kind of had to because I got someone, I got someone here with me that I don't want to live that life. So I got to try. I'm obligated to try to be better, whether I want to or not.
Yeah. I know how that is. I mean, well, I guess I'm obligated because if I don't, then I just can't see a way that, shit gets better. So that's where I'm at.
Well, I mean, the whole reason I got down this path of trying to be better is because some motherfucker, this motherfucker used my words against me with, me saying like, hey, I ain't nothing if I'm not a person of my word. And then kind of tricked me into being like, hey, I'm dying now. So like, you got to live longer than I did. You got to, learn to live, kid. Motherfucker.
Yeah.
Now I'm obligated to because like I wouldn't be a person. Motherfucker. I got to keep to my word now. Gotta learn how to live. Fucking piece of shit. I could have been eating a trash. I could have been eating trash outside of a 7-Eleven, man, right now. No. I have to learn how to live. I have to be a human. I have to like exist in society. Fucking piece of shit.
Aren't you glad you did though?
Right now? I mean, maybe in a few years it'll be better. I mean, now I'm spending more money to have less stuff. I mean, I guess I have internet whenever I want it. Aside from when I'm on my bike in between work and home. I mean, I have a roof that isn't made out of pallets. But like, I mean, it does the same thing as a roof made out of pallets. I don't know. I'm still kind of feral and I'm trying to work out of that. It's hard. I know you know.
Yes, yes, I know about the street life. Okay, I think that's a good place to leave it. Of course, we can
Sure.
continue talking if you like, but I
Hell yeah.
think we'll end the stream here. Thank you, Beck, William, Bugs, Pragmatic Crystal. Of course, my guest is Kat, and I don't know about intelligence, but maybe we'll find out. I don't. Good night. Good luck. Be well.